wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum. You're listening to Radio Ramadan Wolverhampton. This is Yusuf Shafi and Company. And today is our first show in this month of Ramadan. And we are blessed in that we've got two excellent and well-informed speakers from the world of artificial intelligence. And that's what's going to be our main topic of conversation today, listeners, inshallah. For the next hour, we are here to entertain, inform, educate, and inspire. We're here to develop your understanding and your interests into the world of artificial intelligence. During this month of Ramadan, inshallah, what I want to do is bring a different set of guests every week to join me in Yusuf and Company, and to be able to really use this time to explore some of the things that you may well be interested in, you may well be focused on, but also some of the things that you think, I haven't got a clue, what's that all about? And it therefore gives you an opportunity to learn more. So, without further ado, let's introduce our guests. We've got Brother Luqman and Brother Gokhan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
And how are you brothers today?
Alhamdulillah, very good. Glad that we reached to another Ramadan. And Ramadan Kareem to all our brothers and sisters.
MashaAllah.
And very happy to be here with you, Yusuf, today.
MashaAllah, you're very welcome. And Brother Luqman, how are you today?
Yes, alhamdulillah, again, it is such a massive ni'mah from Allah. You reach this time, and alhamdulillah, we'll put this time to good use, seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Ameen, mashallah. It's a blessed month and it's a blessed time, and alhamdulillah, it's an opportunity for us to reflect on all the goodness that exists within our lives, and to be able to really come together and close with our Creator and really learn about and understand ourselves and our wonderful creation. So a time of sacrifice, a time of giving, a time for reading, a time for the Quran, and many, many blessings. So may Allah Ta'ala give all of our listeners and everybody a blessed month, mashallah.
Amen.
Right, let's get into our topic. So topic today, listeners, is artificial intelligence, the world of AI. And you may well be sitting there thinking, yes, I know a little bit about that, but you may well thinking, no, I haven't got an absolute clue. So first of all, I'm going to ask Brother Gokhan, we'll start with yourself, because you're on my right. What is the basic definitions? What is artificial intelligence from your point of view?
Right, thanks so much. It's a great question. However, I think it would be helpful for everybody to give a little bit background about what we do.
Of course,
right?
yes. Please do, yes. Introduce yourselves
yes.
and where you're from and what you do and your jobs, etc.
I'll start from current and go back. Well, I am a business consultant, innovation specialist. So I do help entrepreneurs to bring their dreams into life. I help them to develop technologies and commercialize it, start and scale up businesses. At the moment, I'm studying Doctorate of Business Administration in Generative AI and Emerging Technologies at the Golden Gate University, San Francisco, USA. Prior to that, I have done a Masters of Business Administration and Law and Business degree. So I think it's very important for our audience to understand that I don't have an IT background, right? And why this is important, so people who doesn't have any skills, they can come into AI world and become an expert. So thanks to LLMs and all the other tools that there
LLMs?
are. Large language models. Thank you for understanding that. We'll get into that in shortly. But thanks to artificial intelligence, we have teachers, mentors in our pockets now that we can learn almost any discipline. Okay, and intelligence. I think if we, for sake of argument, for everyone to be on the same page, intelligence is let's describe that. It's finding, acquiring, and applying knowledge in a simple way, right? And artificial intelligence in that case is ability of computers that they can mimic the human intelligence, right? So this is a very general description that is used in the world of AI. So if we don't understand, if you're not on the same page about intelligence, this get a bit muddy. So
okay.
Yes.
So just to clarify, what you're saying is artificial intelligence is about how to get a machine to do things which humans would be doing.
That's quite good.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to Brother Luqman. And you can introduce yourself and then carry on from the conversation.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, so maybe juxtaposed to Gokhan's position. So I came from a more traditional IT background, worked in the NHS for 20 years in storage architecture, delivery, a whole lot of system development, worked in pathological systems, a lot of medical-based systems and technology over the years. Got quite interested in when first ChatGPT got released in sort of 2022. I developed a company called the Sunnah NLP Institute. So essentially we do coaching and personal development type therapy. And I sort of realized that the sophistication of these large language models like ChatGPT, which everybody's probably heard about by now, were quite divisive. We started to realize there could come a time when things like psychotherapy, a whole variety of sort of talk therapy, for example, could be taken over by these more sophisticated type of engines with some type of agency. So that really got a sort of interest base, and that really drove me to then move to, I started my master's in artificial intelligence at Hull University. So I've been studying that for over a year now, and that really sort of changed the landscape of my perception of what was really going on, and obviously gives you a chance to access the deeper insights from a lot of the professors you get exposure to. And more importantly, with the whole university is actually really looking at the business application. That's really the sort of focus, and that's really with the sort of key. I mean, as outcomes for this, we're really sort of driven towards sort of assisting and inspiring people to have really great business outcomes and to use this massive new ways of technology that's coming down the road.
Right. So what we're saying there is that we want to use computers to help, or use artificial intelligence to help us do our day-to-day jobs and to develop businesses and to inspire new learning, which otherwise human beings would take many, many years or decades to do. We want our computers to be able to do that much faster. Give us some examples. How has it been used so far? Because there's a lot of myths about AI. There's a lot of people who are worried about the world of AI and how it's going to somehow destroy the planet and it's going to do all sorts of nasty things. Maybe explore some of those myths, but also either one of you. Give me some examples.
Okay, sure. I think one that is close to home for everybody is NHS, right? We can talk about the recent trial of NHS. They are using Mia. This is another AI for mammogram. Currently, radiologists, they have to scan about from 750 to 3,000 cases every year to detect the cancers. And that's a quite daunting task and very repetitive. However, now the NHS Mia artificial intelligence, it can speed up this process 30%. And it has been proven that it's 12% more effective in terms of scanning the images and detecting the tumors.
Excellent, good.
So 12%, it's...
So whereas previously you're saying where a doctor or radiographer would be looking at scanned images, a mammogram, manually, they would be observing it and looking for dark patches or light patches or differences from normal, and then to identify and say, well, therefore that is a cancer or a benign or a malignant cancer. Now what you're saying is a machine can do exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
And the machine is better at doing it.
So machine is better at doing it and faster at doing it as well.
And faster at doing it as well.
Yes. So it's much more accurate and much more faster. So what this does, it enables our professionals to focus on much more important areas.
Okay.
Instead of going through the image by image.
And of course, machines will make mistakes as well.
Absolutely.
So what we're saying is we're not going to get rid of the professionals. The professionals will still be there at hand, but they will be able to hopefully, where the machine has made an error, be able to overcome that and be able to look into it and say, yes, okay, the machine is making a glitch here. But in most cases, you're saying the machine's actually better than humans. It finds cancers which humans miss.
That is very true and very accurate. So yes, we still need the human in the loop, and that's a new system is being developed, and it's a new term, human in the loop. So human professionals will act as a supervisor to machines.
Okay. So, Brother Luqman, give us an example from your world.
I think one of the things I first came across with some of the work with Google's DeepMind, or actually it's a subsidiary of Alphabet, when I came across their AlphaFold system, which was originally deployed in, I think, 2018. So this is essentially where they're really DeepMind as a subunit of alphabet, so they basically perform predictions of protein structures. So this essentially, when the CEO of DeepMind, the Nobel Prize for Chemistry, in basically taking what would have taken human beings in a similar sort of vein, sort of hundreds of thousands of years of development, and actually produce and be able to synthesize and understand these protein structures algorithmically in software in basically a matter of hours or days. So this was a massive, massive leap forward for chemistry and protein development, which essentially, in terms of mass applications, can lead to major innovations or forward movements in things like drug development and pharmaceuticals, with the ability to understand what these proteins actually really look like.
Okay. So again, just what we're saying there is you're talking about, for example, a medicine which has got a chemical structure, but it has to target a certain protein in a cell.
Exactly.
Or on a cell.
Yeah.
That protein will have a certain shape. We don't know exactly what the shape is.
Exactly.
For human beings to research the shape of that protein on the surface of a cell, it may take 5 years, 10 years, however longer. But using machines, using artificial intelligence, we can identify that structure, and then we can design a chemical, a drug, which we can give to the patient, which will then go into the cell because it identifies that surface structure. Good. I can talk about that because that's my world of biochemistry.
Well, yeah.
and I'm blessed with being able to know very little bit about it. But okay, so drug design to target cancers or to target immune system and the response of the immune system. And what our machines are doing is far better and far faster critically in comparison to what human beings are doing. Great. So that's the good stuff. Where's the bad stuff? AI's got to have some bad stuff as well. Isn't it? Where's the parts of AI where we're going to destroy the planet? It's going to take over. The robots are going to run the country, and all of us will become slaves to them. Is this just a myth, or is there some reality in it?
I'll start, if I may, from something more real that is happening today. The serious problem that doesn't go into radar of many people. But there's a model in ChatGPT called DALL-E that generates you an image. Right. So to generate one image, when you give the prompt in your phone or in your window to ChatGPT, it consumes energy as much as your smartphone runs half a day. For one image, your smartphone's energy that lasts for half a day.
Half of your battery.
Yes.
Half of your battery on your phone.
For one simple image. So if you can think about the scale of the energy consumption, it's huge. So that is a big problem. But and then again, if artificial intelligence helping us to come up with unique drugs to save the life, where is your priority? Will it be in the saving energy or saving a human life?
Okay, but coming back to the myths, so one of the myths of artificial intelligence is, maybe it's not a myth, but we can grab a robot, we can put a camera on the robot, we can give it arms and legs, and we can give it a gun, and we can release that robot out into the world and say, identify people with 2 eyes that have got the colour brown, for example, or the colour, let's not choose any particular community, find people who have got pink eyes. And the reason why I use pink eyes is because nobody has pink eyes. Identify them, meet them, say hello, and then shoot them in the head. Is that possible?
It's actually far more sophisticated than that. And one of the AI developers I'd worked with recently, he said back in 2017 when he did his masters, you're actually looking at some of the technologies that were evolving at that time. And for example, where automated systems could use facial recognition, in actual fact, it's far more subtle than that. Now they can actually use a person's walking pattern. So because it's obviously much more, you need far more high definition for facial recognition than you do for a walking pattern. So now at some distance away, you can actually recognize an individual from where they walk. And of course, this is potentially being deployed in some conflict zones even now, which is slightly concerning, of course.
Okay, so what we're saying is there's technology that exists to identify a certain gait, a certain type of walking, and then you can program the robot to actually...
You would have a database.
You could program the robot to give that person a pizza, or you could program the robot to give that person a bullet in the head. Either way, it's how you use the application.
Yes, I mean, The Guardian about a year ago reported on an article from one of the recent conflicts that there was the conflict in Gaza was actually the first AI war that was taking place.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, again, they reported on the fact that, for example, if you listen to the reports coming out of Gaza, that one of the most concerning things for people in terms of on the sound spectrum is actually the sound of drones. After initial strikes are deployed into a particular target, drone swarms come in. And those are AI drone swarms. And obviously they may well have automated functionalities, we don't really know, or they may have a human-in-loop functionality where a target may be rendered and presented and a person makes a decision about whether to strike that target or not. So again, in 2017, I recall that Elon Musk and about 3,000 people actually commissioned a letter to all world governments actually asking them not to use automated advanced drone systems for warfare application. And you can see the reason why. Again, two sides of it. On the one hand, there may be some issues regarding Geneva Convention, the rights to actually do that. On the flip side of it, it could well get out of control. If you give an AI system agency or independence to think and an ability to take action, it could take the wrong action. So the question about risk to those systems and controlling certainty within the decision-making process is quite a sophisticated process to actually deploy. So it's slightly concerning for some people.
Right, so there's a real example for our listeners to think about from the point of view of any tool in this world can be used for a good reason or for a bad reason. And similarly with AI, what you've got is situations where it can save lives. For example, with the mammograms to identify breast cancer, or with, for example, the various other applications we spoke about earlier. But this is one example of how you can actually get involved with warfare using robotics and AI. To what extent will regulation, to what extent will government and people in authority be able to actually put this genie back in the bottle, or to what extent will they be able to control this genie, do you think? And to some extent, and we don't want to be too political about it, but to some extent, to what extent do they want to control this genie?
Well, I'll take, please. Just take a reference. So, for example, there's a very interesting character in the AI community called Geoffrey Hinton, who's a Nobel laureate as well. So he actually is maybe considered to be the godfather of AI. I just want to mention a quote that he actually makes. He said, "I have suddenly changed my views on whether these things could become more intelligent than us and take over. I think they are very scary." And that's a quote from Geoffrey Hinton a few years back. He actually left Google development team for concerns over AI safety, which is a bit of concern. So that's definitely something to be a heads up in terms of. It must say that within the AI community, there's definitely a split between people who are quite very confident about its future outlook, and a lot of people are really concerned about some of its applications and about regulating it. Again, when you mention regulation, for example, we now have the EU AI Act, which came into place in August this year, which affects a lot of businesses in actual fact. Although to whether these acts are actually implemented at the back end in government development or military development is another question to be asked.
So really what you're telling me is that there are potential hazards, and it's very unlikely that the powers that be will be able to control it.
I think the concern is, again, for example, if you juxtaposition between UK governments and the US and China, for example, China have an interesting type code base. Probably people don't necessarily know this, but when you're training AI models, that essentially it's the concept of garbage in, garbage out. If you feed a lot of rubbish, you get a lot of rubbish. So China have a different methodology of an extremely controlled basis for actually gathering data. So the data they use for their model development and architectures is far more controlled and contained as it is to, for example, with the ChatGPT that you necessarily may have had exposure to. There's awful lots of rubbish, so to speak, in there, which you can theoretically access. They've done lots of measures to actually prevent people from accessing illicit information, illegal information inside its system. But the model is nevertheless actually containing it. So again, there's within the cybersecurity community, there are lots of new measures being placed about how to actually mitigate and resolve issues with these large models and some of the dirty information, so to speak, that's contained within them, which is a big concern for that community.
Okay. Gökhan, did you want to add to this?
Yusuf, gin is out of the bottle and it's not going back in. Recently, the EU AI summit that was last month on the 11th of February in Paris, more than 100 countries been there, and while there's a desire from EU to regulate AI, the rest of the world doesn't want to regulate it. That's purely on the competition, relies on the competition. So if they think if the West is regulated, that will slow down the innovation, which usually the case. Innovation regulation always slows down the innovation. So none of the countries wants to fall behind of the race, and there is a desire to develop the AGI, artificial general intelligence, which will be equal to human intelligence and will be able to do any tasks that human tasks. And another target is artificial super intelligence. That's when the scary things can happen, or miracles can happen. That's an intelligence that can surpass human intelligence. So there is a huge race. Billions of dollars are being pushed into AI development to get to AGI and then ASI. So none of the countries wants to fall behind because of that selfish needs or desires. They don't want to regulate it, so they can keep the secrets to themselves and win the race.
So it's a brave new world, but it's a scary world as well, is what you're telling me.
All part of our lives will be affected. So we're going through a revolution that we're not really feeling it at the moment.
And it's not going to be 20 years. It's going to be 2 or 3 years down the line. Is that what you're thinking?
It's going to happen, yes, very soon. It's very hard to say or predict when it can happen. If we can get to AGI, it can speed up everything. But when we get to AGI, the artificial general intelligence, it's unknown.
So I come from the world of teaching. And one of the worries we've got in the world of teaching is that we're all going to be made redundant. We're not going to need teachers anymore. So you'll get your own personalized bot or robot, and it'll be programmed to know exactly what you don't know. And it will teach you that, one-to-one. And it'll sit there next to the student, and the student will be able to gain all of the information and learn all of the skills through this machine, because this machine will be super intelligent, far more intelligent than a teacher, to understand the needs of that student. So from a teaching point of view, I'm out of a job. Tough luck. But from the student point of view, that's brilliant, isn't it?
Indeed. So it's this, because of the artificial intelligence, all services can be highly customized, and that enables each one of the students to learn in a way that they can learn, right? So that we all have different learning needs, and we learn different styles. So artificial intelligence can help us to get that customized services. But these are coded programs. They are not conscious beings, and they are lacking the human emotional intelligence. And because of that, we're always going to need the teachers. Maybe less in numbers, but they definitely will be in the loop.
Okay. We're coming up to our break time, listeners, and so we've got about 40 seconds before the break. And inshallah, after the break, we're going to carry on and talk more about this particular topic, and learn exactly about this whole concept of what's going to happen with employment. How are our lives going to be changed? What are the beneficial applications and what are the detrimental applications of artificial intelligence? So inshallah, after the break, we will have Brother Luqman and Brother Kokhan with me. And inshallah, all being well, we will hear from you. Please do feel free to phone in. I'll give you the WhatsApp number. Actually, it's 07440420432, or the telephone for the studio is 01902 972 150. Inshallah, I'll speak with you all after the break. Khuda Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.
Eurofit Auto Centres, the leading MOT and service centres in West Midlands, are recruiting technicians, MOT testers and managers. There's a starting salary of £30,000 based on experience, and a minimum 5 years experience is necessary. For details, call Rashad at Eurofit Auto Centres on 01902 404045. That's Eurofit Auto Centres on 01902 404045.
Northern Gas Heating, celebrating 24 years of reliable heating and renewable energy solutions for your home. We have unbeatable offers on gas boilers, fully installed by our professional engineers. If your business or home is paying high electricity prices, call for a free Northern Gas Heating quote for cost-effective solar PV with battery storage. Visit northerngasheating.com or call 0800 083 1000.
Ramadan Kareem from Premier Tyres, suppliers of the tyres you can rely on for safe driving, as they're the only link between your vehicle and the road. And as well as leading tyre brands, Premier's your reliable go-to garage for servicing, spares, repairs and MOTs. Now available, Wolverhampton taxi plated cars for hire. Now Uber and Bolt ready, so you can run your business in confidence. For details, visit Premier Tyres, Crown Street, WV1 1PX. Call 01902 455 684 or visit premiertyreservices.com.
Experience the AK Windows difference. Visit our HQ at Economic House, Salisbury Street, Wolverhampton, WV3 OBG. Discover quality UPVC and aluminium windows, doors, roof lanterns, bifolding doors and composite doors in various styles. Offering glass and UPVC repairs too. With over 30 years of experience, AK Windows is your trusted choice for both trade and retail. For free quotations, call 01902 421 500 or visit akwindows.co.uk. Elevate your living with AK Windows. Precision, quality, satisfaction.
Midland Plastics and Plumbing Limited, your one-stop shop for home and bathrooms. A wide range of plumbing products and quality bathroom supplies in Wolverhampton. We supply underground drainage, guttering, roofing products, UPVC cladding and much more to the trade and public. This Ramadan we're offering 40% off all bathroom suites. Visit us online at midlandplasticsltd.co.uk or call us today on 01902 399 611, or why not visit in-store at Moore Street South, Wolverhampton, WV2 3JN.
Mubi Bass Electronics, specialist in car audio and home entertainment. Suppliers of leading brands, Samsung, Sony, and Panasonic. We supply and fit all car audio systems, top brands, Kenwood, Bose, and we're an authorized supplier of Vibe product. Visit our store online at mubibase.co.uk and order today for next day delivery. Mubi Bass Electronics are proud sponsors of Wolverhampton Wanderers FC. Call us today for a free quote on 01902 754 546 and quote Ramadan 20 for 10% off. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Mubi Bass Electronics, specialist in car audio and home entertainment.
Khan Builders offer a full range of building services, from major rebuilds to small projects, home improvements, kitchen fitting, plastering, bathroom fitting, extensions and much more. We pride ourselves on providing a professional, caring and high quality service and always meet our customers' needs. Contact Khan Builders today on 07813 950 265 for a free quotation from Khan Builders. We've all spent a lot of time at home lately, and it's time to notice those carpets really need replacing. Let's be honest, we don't want to go from shop to shop, do we? Well, Perfect Carpets can save you the time and bring perfection to your floor. Over 1,000 high-quality styles and colours. Carpets start from only £3 per square yard. Rugs from £30. There's free measurements and free quotation with exclusive trade discounts to landlords and builders. You can't get any more perfect. Make your home with Perfect Carpets, the Black Country's biggest carpet store. Call us today on 01902 428 833 or visit us at 21 to 25 Snow Hill, Wolverhampton, WV2 4AD, and quote Ramadan Radio for 5% off your next order.
Quick Build Construction Limited offer a full range of building services, from major rebuilds to small projects, home improvements, kitchen fitting, plastering, bathroom fitting, extensions and much more. We pride ourselves on providing a professional, caring and high-quality service and always meet our customers' needs. Contact Quick Build Construction today on 07813 950 265 for a free quotation from Quick Build Construction.
Do you have a family member that's passed away and you would like someone to assist you in legal advice? Kenneth Jones Solicitors has been providing legal services for businesses and individuals since 1986. We specialise in probate, Islamic wills and family law. We also offer services in conveyancing, immigration and personal injury. Contact us today on 01902 745 773 or visit us on our website at kenneth-jones.co.uk.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna alhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum. Audience, you're back with me, Yusuf and Company. We're live today on Saturday, the first day of Ramadan, 87.8 FM, Radio Ramadan, Wolverhampton. And we're blessed to have two absolutely excellent guests today. We've got Brother Luqman and Brother Gohan, both of whom are very busy and active in the world of artificial intelligence. And the conversation today has been all around artificial intelligence. We've been learning a little bit about what is involved in the world of artificial intelligence, what are the applications, what are some of the myths, what are some of the positive uses of it, and of course some detrimental and negative uses of it as well. Just before the break, we were touching on the whole concept of how artificial intelligence can be now further enhanced and developed into these SGI models, and is that correct? And AGI models.
Correct, great, yes.
And I think I remembered accurately. And then also how we have got a direct, there's a race going on, essentially. All the governments of the world are busy trying to get ahead in making sure that they are the ones who actually make all the great innovations, and they're the ones who can take the big steps with regards to achieving with AI. And of course, the impact of that is that the regulation is being left behind. And those who are shouting and arguing for regulation, for controlling this technology, because it may well be creating some harm in the future, those people aren't being adhered to. Those people aren't being listened to. And as a result of that, we are in a dangerous new world. Brother Luqman, just bringing you back now. So before the break, we were talking about some of the applications and things. Going forward, how can these applications impact our direct lives? So you were mentioning something around, or you were going to mention something around the world of business and entrepreneurship, and specifically in the world of currencies.
Yeah, well, I wanted to start with addressing all those parents that are listening. So one of the really amazing advantages we have now, especially with the development of things like ChatGPT, is the fact that essentially as a large language model, it has a huge corpus in there, and you can pretty much learn anything. So one of the good things about, in terms of development, actually learning artificial intelligence around this, traditionally you probably would have had some good sort of graduate level mathematics or quite deep coding skills to actually access this area, whereas those really constraints are actually now really being removed, where some people are now hypothecating or suggesting that the future of code in and of itself is just human language. Obviously, people like Elon Musk who are developing Neuralink are now trying to take that one step further into actually using thoughts as the doorway to actually programming and development. So just to
clarify that, what you're saying is to get into the world of artificial intelligence, you don't actually need to know how to code.
Now, no, not really. Even if you go on to masters, even some PhD programs, there may be a prerequisite to require you to have some Python code or some background in mathematics. But in actual fact, because there are so many support tools now to help you to understand for things like, for example, linear algebra and calculus, that you can not necessarily have to go and do that formalized degree to be able to have.
So back in the day, you would have to have A-level maths in order to get into a computer science degree.
You'll find all the top people working at Google who came through the normal direction towards artificial intelligence development have gone through deep mathematics programming. Most people have come from that school. It's the typical type of STEM type development. Whereas now I think because of the fact we're now transitioning, which is a natural evolution actually of development or coding. We started out with paper tickets back in the 1950s, and now essentially we can just use language to create entire programs. In fact, if you give it a try, you can code it to people like Anthropic or ChatGPT and actually ask it to create a program for you just using language. Okay. So basically you're coding with your own voice. And that's quite a big transition and a massive supportive sort of leap forward for everybody, that everybody can now essentially code, because the code can be written for you just by you explaining what it is that you actually want.
So if I get your message accurately, what you're saying is that if you can't beat it, join it. And you're saying this is something we can't beat. So it's important as a community, as people who are involved with and will be recipients of this technology, we join it, we actually learn about it and be a part of this development.
Yeah, I think we could probably say that similar to the way in which the internet exploded in the early 90s, there's a massive wave of transition and disruption to all of our lives in many different aspects. I think the big facilitator in terms of education development towards business is really from the perspective of, do you need to wait until you leave university to start a business? Can you become an entrepreneur when you're 7 or 8 years old? Well, almost certainly the facilitators for that, and artificial intelligence is definitely bringing an ability for young people at any age to be able to create their own models, create their own applications, deploy their own. We might have what we call now AI agency, or we call it agentic AI, where we're actually getting these models to actually be able to interact with the real world even in basic ways about answering emails and making phone calls, this type of thing. So I'm really sort of advocating the fact that I think traditional methodologies of just needing to wait until you left university to start a business or to be able to have multiple streams of income, all those sort of like traditional barriers are now really being broken down.
Excellent, good. And are you telling me that it is stuff which is complicated? Is it hard? Or as long as you've got a basic general intelligence, you can cope with these things and you can actually do quite well in the world of AI and the world of careers in AI?
Yes, in my experience, speaking to a lot of professors over the last year or so, even they didn't necessarily require everybody to have sort of postgraduate level mathematics. So I won't lie to you, the complexities inside how you actually construct these large language models, how regression works and classification, all these concepts which some people may have heard about, there is some relative level of complexity. However, it's not necessarily a mandate in order to enter into the industry. This is really the key.
Okay. Brother Gokhan, do you want to come in on that?
Sure. Well, I am a living example of a non-technical or non-coder person coming into AI world.
So you don't know programming?
I never wrote a single line of code, and I'm doing a doctorate in
and now
AI.
You're working towards your PhD or your doctorate in the world of AI.
Absolutely. So you can come to it from very different angles, right? So for example, for someone who's non-technical like me, you can focus on AI ethics, which requires no technical skills. Of course, you will need to understand how the coding world it happens, or the design happens, so you can develop ethical governance systems for AI. So how can we develop the guardrails that will keep AI in the walls of ethics, so it behaves properly to our advantage. So these type of roles can be suitable to non-technical people.
But as Brother Luqman was saying, as far as even the programming is concerned, what we're moving towards is a model where people will be able to just speak or be able to write down their instructions, and the AI will produce the programming for them, which they can then put back into different applications and get their products out or whatever they want to achieve out.
Absolutely.
So, because one of the things that scares people is A-level maths and A-level physics. And they think, I don't want to do that. And if I don't do that, that's it. This world is out for me. I have no option now. I can't get into the world of artificial intelligence because of the fact that I don't have those basic physics and maths qualifications. Am I correct in saying that is actually not valid anymore? You can still jump into it at any age, and you can actually make quite a good career out of learning about and working on AI research.
Absolutely. So there's now a method called text to code. Right, so you just type so you just type whatever you want, and the model will generate your code. So new coding language is a human language, right? So that's a method. It's growing very rapidly. Text to image. You type whatever image you want model to generate, and it will generate for you. Text to video. So now everyone can become a director or producer. There are lots of video models out there. You can just type a few sentences, the vision in your mind, and AI will generate a short video for you. Today is a short video. Tomorrow, in the short feature, it will be a long video. So and I am following a social media influencer, shall we say, recently came about and became very popular, called AI Firdaus. I think this
AI?
is Firdaus.
free.
Firdaus, the female name, Firdaus.
Firdaus.
Yes.
AI Firdaus, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We
So
may as well
this
plug her.
sister, she creates images with AI and create content. She shares hadith and she creates beautiful images that goes hand in hand with the hadith and create lots of content and spreads the message of.
So you can produce YouTube videos, or you can produce any other type of video or music or nasheeds or songs or poetry, literature, and it literally you will have to just type in a few, not even commands of coding. You could just type in a few human language in your English or even in Farsi or Urdu or Arabic or any language you like.
Yes.
You can put those into the computer, and pop will out is some creativity, some images, some videos, which you can then broadcast and you can share and you can make money out of.
Absolutely. Every click is money. So attention.
So all the teachers we've already agreed are redundant, and now all the actors are going to be redundant as well.
Yes,
and the newsreaders.
There's a huge protest. There have been a huge protest in the Hollywood. Right, all the artists are raising up because AI is taking the roles. Because now we don't need that expensive stars to act in the movies. We can create our own.
And even their voice, we can artificially create their voice, and they can sing any song. So I was watching the news the other day, and ABBA came on. They were saying we're reproducing all their old songs and things through AI, and they've I think a couple of years back they had a concert where they didn't actually do anything themselves. They just put their AI what's the word?
Profiles, generated profiles.
There's a specific word for it, isn't it? AI avatars.
Avatars. Yeah.
Avatars. They put the AI avatars. The avatars did all the singing, and they took all the money. So, but theoretically, you don't have to be ABBA. You can just grab anybody. You can get the Beatles back, and you can have a Beatles concert and make money out of it because people will see the Beatles singing the song through AI. So, from that point of view, that creates a lot of opportunities for a lot of people to make serious money.
Absolutely.
You know,
another example to give is AI influencers, right? They create these real people, look like avatars as you mentioned, and they create them a profile and they take photos and videos. These people are almost real in the virtual world, and then if you build up your followers, then you start getting lots of sponsors. The companies comes and offers you
because they get advertising from your site. It's amazing.
There is something I'd like to raise a
Please
point
do.
on that. Yes, you can go. It's very interesting if you go to places like Sora or Midjourney. That it is true that even a 7 or 8 year old can now become a top Hollywood producer. You can create anything you want. It's just an interesting point, especially to the parents out there, that in the same way you could take a still 2-dimensional image of a person and you can create a fully rendered 3-dimensional image of a person dancing or going to the movies or on a horse riding through the landscape. You should be aware of the fact that if you are posting any images of yourself or your children online, I can take that 2-dimensional image and I can render absolutely anything I want. Now just think about the potential implications of being able to do that. So when you're happily posting on Facebook, start to think a little bit carefully about, I'm giving this information to the world, and if I put that into a large language model, I can now take that still image, that 2-dimensional image, and I can actually render anything. And that obviously can be used very detrimentally. And there's a few things circulating on TikTok and other areas where people have actually created small sort of mini docos on suggesting or mentioning the warnings about some of these things. Again, it's the flip side of the coin. There's amazing ability to develop almost anything. However, of course, and there has been some already early sort of broadcast, so to speak, about the abstinence or the vilification of virtual porn, for example, which is becoming a bit of a problem now out on the internet as people start to realize they can construct anything they want, and the multi-million-dollar industry that is waiting to be captured through this particular avenue.
Okay, so there's a negative side of what you're saying. In effect, what you can, all us three are now on the internet, online at the moment through this radio show. Anybody who wishes to can take our face and put it onto any character and get them to do anything. So you can put it on James Bond and we can look like we're James Bond and we're running around shooting people and saving the world. But at the same time, there could be something really negative.
The truth is, that in 30 seconds from now, you can take my voice, run it through an engine, and call my wife and try and transfer money to your account. And she won't be able to distinguish that it's not me. And there's a huge leap and jump forward in technological development in having this actually happen. And you can go to something called Character AI just to play around for yourself, and you can just speak into Character AI. You can download it on Google or OS or iPhone, and you can put 30 seconds of your voice in and create yourself. And I did it to a number of my family members, and I gave the phone to them and said, have a conversation with yourself, and it would speak in their voice as them. And I've created the structure and attributes of the particular AI character to be like them. And the more information you feed into it, the more it simulates them, and it's almost indistinguishable from the real person. And there was this very interesting thing about having that. Of course, there are some potential dark sides to where that can go, and it's already been used to try to make hacks to live what's called team calls, to try to, where a person, a particular CEO, is actually morphed in this way and comes onto a call and makes a request for a certain transaction to be made, and it was all completely spoofed. So again, there was some darker corners there you need to be careful about.
Here we open the doors to deepfake.
Yes, that's the problem.
Deepfake for misinformation, fraud, non-consensual content. Ofcom recently been battling with the revenge porn, which is a huge problem that raising. But another recent example, they used Zelensky's, Ukraine's president's voice and image, and they generate a video message, and they sent the Ukrainian soldiers, put down your guns and pull back, don't fight the Russians anymore. And that can change the fate of the whole war. But
in a sense, I suppose where we're at with all of this now is we're saying, yes, there's lots and lots of really, really positive things that can be done with AI, and at the same time, really, really negative things that can be done. But we can't stick our heads in the sand. This technology exists. It will continue to grow, and it will be a part of our lives. And what is important is, number one, we understand it, so we don't become the victims of deepfake, or we don't become the victims of, having our image suddenly thrown somewhere, and find ways to prevent that. Not that I suppose there are many. But number one, we need to have a deep understanding of it, or a better understanding of it. And at the same time, I think as a community, we need to think about how we can be a part of and contribute to this. I mean, certainly we can use it for the work of dawah. Certainly we can use it for the point of Islamic education. And we can develop AI in order to actually make sure that there's a greater understanding of the Deen of Islam. And there's a critical amount of work that's needed on that, and we need to be a part of it. So, yes, there are difficulties and problems with this technology, but we have to embrace it.
I absolutely agree. Just like the cars, right? There's about 10 million accidental death in the traffic because of the cars every year. But we're not stopping. We're not stopping to use of the cars. So similarly, there are lots of problems with the AI, but we can't just stop using it because there are ethical problems. So we need legislative measures to help protect our communities. But most importantly, Yusuf, just like what you are doing now, the public awareness is key to protect ourselves, right? And we can't expect regulations to catch up to protect ourselves, and we have to do this by raising awareness, introducing what is this tool, what it can do, and what it can break.
I'd like to raise something else that came up recently in discussions about the AI scholar. So already a number of people have been looking at ways of actually taking the Sharia as a corpus of information and developing a large language model which would be able to digest and understand all the material and ultimately potentially give some type of a khutbah or a fatwa or something like this. Of course, it's very common for people who maybe don't have access to the ulama or scholars or scholarship in any way to be able to access basic information. But I must say that anyone who does seek to find out rulings or answers on ChatGPT or other type of language models, be aware of the fact of what I mentioned earlier. Garbage in, garbage out. In the underbelly of the language model, in those hundreds of billions of parameters, without going into the details, there are lots of information in that is corrupted and wrong. So you will find the language model can make mistakes and can hallucinate and can give information that's wrong. So whatever anybody does in terms of seeking information from these large language models, you definitely need to verify that with an actual person who knows. I think it may be some time before we actually develop models that are really consistently approved, for example, by the Sharia councils or European Sharia Council, that are actually recommended to be used for basic information gathering. Otherwise, of course, the truth is that kids and all sorts of people will be going out and looking for answers to questions, even if it's about the fiqh of Ramadan, the rulings and usuli principles of Ramadan. Can I do this? Can I do that? You can get this information is all on ChatGPT. ChatGPT can teach you Arabic. It can speak Fusha. It can go through fiqh and usul and these things, and without going into the details about how it does that, it's able to do that. Of course, it's not necessarily 100% guaranteed to be correct. So again, it's a massive advantage for people who want to seek information, although there are some cautions in doing that before that is really structured and regulated in a correct type of way, to be able to be really safe and admissible for anyone to use in a consistent way that's not really going to deviate you into some mistake of some sort.
Okay, excellent. Jazakallah khair for that. That's really, really inspiring, actually, because you can use it for developing deen and developing not deen, but developing an awareness of deen. But at the same time, there's pitfalls in that as well, because there's a potential for misinformation being spread.
Very much so, yeah.
We've got 3 minutes left till the end of the show, and I really want you guys to have these last 3 minutes to be able to speak to our audience and speak to them about how, if they wish to learn more about the world of artificial intelligence, where should they start? Where should they go? What are the resources they should try to access? And if possible, if you guys are available to, by email or by any other form, to actually support people, listeners, who may be wanting to start a career in the world of AI, how should they go about that as well? So I'll start with Brother Gokhan.
Thank you. There are lots of free online sources available today. So some of them are Coursera, EducationX, Google AI, OpenAI. These are all free resources that it can teach you all the basics of AI, and from basics you can move into more deeper areas of the AI. And also there are lots of bloggers and podcasts that you can follow. Such as AI Alignment Forum, towards Data Science, Lex Friedman podcast, IBM podcasts, and YouTube resources are endless. Really. And myself, I'm more than happy to help anybody to start and get into AI. I'll give my email address.
Yeah, if you're happy to.
Sure. Okay. Get a pen and paper handy. It's g.turkanli@gmail.com. So
it's g.turkkka
N for November
NLI@gmail.com. Jazakallah khair. Brother Luqman.
Yes, a couple of references. I actually started my journey with Coursera. I sort of jumped on a course, joined, enrolled about 2:00 in the morning, and did a sort of 2-hour crash dump into deep learning and machine intelligence, which is really, really fantastic. I would say that on YouTube, if you really want to get a good grasp of what's going on with machine learning, you need to go to a particular channel run by a person called Alexander Amini, who is one of the major professors in AI and deep learning at MIT. And he actually has a channel called MIT 6.S for Sierra 191, an introduction to deep learning. This by far is the best simplified explanation of what is going on behind the scenes with this technology, and be able to get.
If we can have that one more time, please.
Yeah, so the YouTube channel is MIT space 6.S for Sierra 191, an introduction to deep learning.
Introduction to deep learning.
Yeah, it's a whole series produced in 2024 from MIT.
We've literally got 10 seconds left, so I'm going to say thank you very much, Brother Luqman and Brother Gokhan. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you for coming on Radio Ramadan Wolverhampton. You've been listening to Yusuf Shafi and Company. Inshallah, see you next week. Assalamu alaikum.